This year's budget is probably defined less by new initiatives or positions, but more by structural cost pressures that we're seeing, and that will become obvious to you as we go through this presentation. We start off with the previous year's levy limit, and then Proposition 2.5 amount is based on that. Right now, we are asking for the full 2.5 in this proposal at about $1.8 million. We did, and we heard before from Cheryl Smith, the assessor, that new growth is pegged at about $800,000. So that's roughly a growth in the levy of $2.6 million. That's an important number. So if you're looking, and if everything were to stay the same throughout the year, $2.6 million growth that we would see in the budget based on 2.5 and that new growth. We do see that state aid is essentially flat. We see a debt exclusion in the amount of $4,178,760 on there. This represents the $70 million borrowing that we executed in support of the high school project. This will become and placed onto the tax bills starting in January of next year. But to capture that, you have to remember, debt exclusion money comes in, and then debt exclusion is spoken for to service the debt that it was created to fund. So that's money that's in, and then it's money that goes out. Looking at local receipts, you'll see that we are, and we have been, year over year, expanding and pushing local receipts. This year, looking at FY27, we're forecasting, and the number we're going to begin our budget process with is $120,814,415. I've grouped all of the departments into the categories that you see there, everything from education all the way down through public safety, health and human services, public works, community service, so on. You see that. Education and fixed obligations lead the way, and they take up the majority, and a good number of them, and a large portion of that is non-discretionary. We don't get a lot of flexibility. Public safety, that's our largest municipal service. At the end of the day, when we look at and add all of these requests as they are submitted today, we have a funding gap of $6.6 million. So this shows, that the current requests aren't sustainable without adjustments and establishing some priorities. What's driving some of these pressures that you're seeing? Health insurance, projected to rise 10 to 15%, and right now we're forecasting a $2.2 million deficit in the current gap. We're running at 109% today. We had 1 month that we ran at 140%. That monthly payment is right around $1.6 million every month, and every percentage above that is an extreme amount of money that we're pulling from future payments to pay this. So we are forecasting that gap. The next one, pension. And we've had the retirement board in here before, and they go through an actuarial study every 2 years. They're going to come up on another one. Previously, we worked with them, and we settled on an 8% increase year over year to achieve our pension obligation by 2035. We're still on track for that. That takes some of the flexibility out of the budget as we see it. We're not creating or going to submit this year any new full-time positions that didn't exist previously as a benefit part-time position. We're looking at our capital based on capacity of what we have to be able to borrow. Right now we're targeting about $3 million of borrowing. So it's going to be about prioritization. It's going to be establishing those priorities, and they're probably going to focus around maintenance and infrastructure costs first. After this evening, we will start meeting with department heads, and I call this the coordination, deliberation, and reconciliation phase, where we're going to go and say, what can you do? What can you do without? What do you need? What do you want? So the key takeaway here is this is a preliminary budget. It gives us a direction to work with. Now we have to do the hard work, roll up the sleeves, and make it come out as a balanced budget to meet all the requirements that we have.